This is an island surrounded by water, big water, ocean water. Trust me, I'm like a smart person. I'm very consistent. I'm a very stable genius. I had the best words, tolerized. I know words. Mike Pounds. I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges of the investigation. But there's no better word than stupid. Anonymous, really anonymous. I'm very highly educated. One of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water. Had the best words. God bless the United States.
Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station.
Big, massive dumps.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It's Thursday. We got fun. We have farts. Well, I mean, not me personally. Not at the moment, anyway. That's for later. Okay. Hilarious story. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. We'll get to that later. What a way to open the show. But first, of course, we got some serious stuff. We have Republicans basically admitting we would like to wipe out the left. Oh, wonderful. Great. We have that. We also have, oh boy, Fox News getting sued again. We have an apology from some of the executives that helped Fox, do their political domination. Do I sound muffled today? Still trying to get this whole thing correct. So just kind of bear with me on that one. Let's see. Maybe I can move that down just a little bit. All right. So we've got Jim Jordan, his brain melting in real time. But wait, is it his fault? Okay, interesting. We've got that. And then finally, bait and switch interviews. So I'm going to talk about that. And it's based off a TikTok video that I found pretty interesting. So we're going to talk about that. So why don't we dive in? Yes, Jim Jordan. Oh boy. Oh boy, indeed. All right. So let's start out with, of course, conservatives basically admitting they want to wipe out the left. A Florida congressional candidate was captured on camera basically saying, we need to extinguish the left.
The only thing that's good enough is completely and totally destroying the political left in this country. Destroying it. I'm talking about defunding government agencies, defunding bureaucrats, defunding government schools and going to 100% private school like Florida's making gestures at right now. Let's make sure that bill that just passed, House Bill 1, gets fully implemented in good faith, and we don't have government schools and we don't have strings attached to our private education models that are about to merge here in the state of Florida at a much faster rate. Let's truly beat the left at the federal level. What does that look like? gutting the DOJ like a fish and defunding these government agencies. But the truth of the matter is we need to go so much further. We need to go so much further with our laws in Florida. We need to extinguish the left.
Okay, so I mean, I don't even know if it's he admitted, because I mean,
Oh my God, he admitted.
this is not really a surprise. This is what they want to do. They want to eliminate, extinguish the left. Funny enough, what is that? What does extinguishing the left look like? It means defunding the DOJ. Is the DOJ? Is that a leftist organization? Really? That's news to me as a leftist. The DOJ is more of like I would say it's more of a look, law enforcement generally tends to be more conservative. You know, the whole law and order thing. So wait a minute. So if apparently the DOJ is leftist, does that mean the leftists are the law and order people, and the right wingers are the ones who are against law and order? I don't know. I honestly don't know what he's trying to say, other than I want to get rid of basically we want to get rid of our political opponents. That's it. We just want to eliminate them. We want to extinguish them. We want to destroy them. So that's Anthony Sabatini, who is the chair of the Lake County GOP. And this was during a speech he gave to the Florida Teenage Republicans Youth Summit in Leesburg on June 17th. So the bill that he was referring to, by the way, is House Bill 1. That passed in Florida. That allows K through 12 students in the state to get taxpayer-funded vouchers for basically unaccountable private schools. So these private schools could, you know, again, be religious in nature. They don't have to teach facts. So we're going to have public money being sent to those. Like, hey, if you want to have private schools, okay, fine. They should be privately funded then. Why do private schools need public funding for? That seems a little weird. Now, look, honestly, what we should do is the Finland model, which is completely eliminate private schools. That's it. And you'll be like, but what about freedom? Don't our children deserve to have a good education, a well-funded education? Yeah, that's kind of the point. Private schools, taking your kids out of the public schools and putting them in private schools actually takes money away from the school system. And by the way that we fund schools in this country is already a joke. You know, it leads to people in very, very poor areas having poorly funded schools. And yet people in rich areas have very well-funded schools. We need to fix that before we do anything. But anyway, all right. So now there's a lot more to say about this. But first, I just want to give a shout out to Lauren Windsor from The Undercurrent for catching this on tape. So now, secondly, let's go to, well, we want to eliminate the left, extinguish the left, the political left in this country. Where's the political left? I mean, it doesn't really exist in this country. Let's be clear. In Europe, many European countries, the Democratic Party would be considered to be centrist or center-right, policy-wise. We're talking policy-wise, right? The way that I look at being a leftist is generally if you're anti-capitalist. Is the Democratic Party anti-capitalist? No. If you think so, you need to get your head examined. Listen to people like Nancy Pelosi saying, well, we're a capitalist country. Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so look, this guy lives in a fantasy land where he believes that government should not exist. That's the whole point. Specifically federal law enforcement, which I think is interesting, because I don't know if you've noticed a pattern with these kinds of people who are like, get rid of the FBI, get rid of the DOJ, get rid of all the law enforcement. They want to get rid of law enforcement so that they can do crime, so that they can get away with crime. And more importantly, allow their corporate donors to get away with crime. And in that, of course, they want to get rid of federal government. And Well, I'm going to show you some more comments of his from this speech where he's like, let's just do a government shutdown. Yeah, that's going to be great.
You know, it's funny, 10 years ago, when there were government shutdowns, the first time the Tea Party really made a headway in D.C., people were so afraid of a government shutdown. Oh, what if the government shuts down? That could be so bad. The public thought that would be bad, the future consequences. I can tell you right now, the polls show, and they're accurate, that independents and people across the political spectrum are so fed up with this federal government, a government shutdown would be considered a major accomplishment by the Republican Party. I think we should actually push for a government shutdown. I think we actually need to defund and destabilize this terror that's happening in Washington, D.C., that's quite literally aimed at us and our families and our children and everything that's going on here. Defund and shut down and destroy the wokeism that exists in this country.
The wokers.
Of course, we got to get rid of the wokeism.
Woke.
Oh, here we go. But on to the main point, because they always got to bring woke into everything. It's just their buzzword at this point. Shut down the government. Yeah, let's defund everything. Yeah, shut it down. Shut it all down. It's going to be great. I got polling. No. The polling consistently says that people believe the government should do more to help people, working people, not to do less. You see, he's actually correct in the fact that there are a lot of people that are fed up with the federal government. And you know why they're fed up? Because the government is not helping working people. They're helping corporations and defense contractors. That's why people are mad. That's why people are mad at the federal government, because it's not helping them. Okay, so now, that said, his solution, shut down the federal government. Because, that's going to be great, right? Really? Hope you don't need to travel. Remember, during the 2018 shutdown, for example, air travel pretty much came to a screeching halt as air traffic controllers didn't show up for work. They weren't getting paid. You had TSA, which I don't care about TSA, but nonetheless, they didn't show up for work either. And so you had a lot of people that were stuck. They couldn't go anywhere. They couldn't do air travel. Kind of a disaster if you need that stuff. You need air traffic controllers. But, it affects other people as well. For example, if you were a home buyer, there would be nobody to approve new mortgages. It has to go through the IRS. If you run a small business, there would be no one to approve small business loans. If you need that loan, sorry, government shutdown, what can we do? The economic results of a government shutdown means the stock market would explode. Which, would crash not only the United States economy, but would also crash the world economy. And so you would essentially reduce not only the United States to a third world country, essentially overnight, by shutting down the government. And I'm talking about complete and total shutdown, which this guy's talking about, right? A shutdown or default, any of that stuff would be an absolute disaster. This is what conservatives are trying to push forward to do now. To just completely shut everything down, default, whatever, so that they can, cut everything in government down to the bare minimum. It'd be a disaster. Now, maybe that's what some of these people want if they've got a bunker and a stockpile of guns. And yeah, to be fair, there are quite a few of those people around. But I'm guessing everyone else is not going to be happy about this. They're not going to be happy with what this guy wants to do, even if they think, oh, yeah, it's a good idea. But when it starts to affect them, because we know, oh, yeah, it's great. This thing, it's so good. Shut this down, destroy this thing. Keep these people out. Oh, no, it affected me. Oh, but bring it back. I didn't actually mean it. I didn't realize it. Oh, this was actually important to the everyday functioning of our country. Yeah, I know. Big surprise. Now, look, finally, let's go back to him wanting to extinguish the left. First off, you're not going to extinguish the left. Right now, the political left doesn't even have power in the United States, in Congress. One of the people that is considered to be far left, radical, somebody like AOC or Bernie Sanders. first of all, not even that radical, for one. And secondly, very, very little political power. Like, I love Bernie Sanders, but, like, he's pretty much got no power. He's one person in the Senate, where most of the Democratic Party doesn't even agree with him or align with him on his issues, things like Medicare for all, things like prescription drug prices, and you know, allowing Medicare to negotiate all prescription drug prices, things like that. Okay, so not going to happen. And secondly, there's always going to be people on the progressive left, no matter what. They're going to be progressives. They're going to be people who want to push change. Look, after the Dark Ages, you had the Enlightenment. After the Gilded Age, you had the rise of unions. You had the New Deal. Things like that. Now, look, if you want to talk about the pendulum swinging, right? Yeah, it does. Sometimes society and culture goes to the right, and generally terrible things happen. Massive wars, you know, lack of knowledge, again, going into a virtual dark age, or even sometimes literal dark age, at least when it comes to, you know, things like education, knowledge, all that stuff. But then it swings back, because progressives always end up dragging the world out of the gutter. The far right always tends to put us in. And if we have to, we'll do it again. Because it turns out you can't beat progress, and you can't kill freedom. Okay. Moving on. Fox News is being sued by a former Republican superfan for ruining his life. Wow. Okay, so now you're not going to be surprised who this is. This is Ray Epps. Ray Epps, who attended a pro-Trump rallies in D.C. on January 5th and 6th, has sued the network after former Fox News host Tucker Carlson suggested that he was a Fed. He was a federal agent. Member of the secret FBI plot to make Donald Trump supporters look bad. But you don't actually have to really do anything to make some supporters of Donald Trump look bad. They look pretty bad on their own. But okay, anyway. Now, Epps, who was filmed encouraging people to go into the Capitol building, but did not enter himself, he claims that, oh, no, I thought this was public. I thought this was public, which I actually believe that, because a lot of these people who watch Fox News they don't know a lot of things, because Fox News doesn't teach them anything. It doesn't actually deal with factual information. So obviously people who watch it are going to be deficient in the fact department. So they don't know if it's closed or not. That, you know, they don't know about the Capitol building. Oh, it's a public building. It must be all open to the public. So yeah, I believe that. Now, after this, though, Epps became the center of right-wing conspiracy theories because, unlike other January 6th defendants, he was not initially charged with a crime. Now, in his suit, Epps claims that the relentless attacks by Fox and Mr. Carlson and the resulting political pressure actually caused the Justice Department to file criminal charges against him back in May. So he has been charged. Now, here's the thing. It's not because of the political pressure and the relentless attack. No, he was at the Capitol building with a bunch of the the rest of the chuds. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Okay. Now, it may be the fact that he eventually did get charged with something. Yeah, sure. I guess maybe it played a little bit into it. Just the fact that he is the target of massive right-wing conspiracies. I'm still thinking he probably would have been charged with something at the end of the day. They're really working their way through the list of people. There are still court cases that are going on against Capitol rioters, etc., etc. But anyway, his lawsuit alleges that Fox, in particular Mr. Carlson, commenced a years-long campaign spreading falsehoods about Epps that destroyed their lives and made he and his wife flee their home. After Carlson's segment, the lawsuit says he and his wife were deluged with threats and harassing messages, forcing them to flee from Arizona, selling the property at a low price. After destroying Epps' reputation and livelihood, Fox will move on to its next story while Ray and Robin live in a 350 square foot RV and face harassment and fear true harm. Living in a, well, maybe not a van down by the river, but an RV, pretty close. So look, I'm going to be honest with you. I do not have a lot of sympathy for this guy. Sorry. Not sorry. Okay? Let's just say...
I apologize for nothing. I concede nothing.
But let me also say that if you're sending this guy death threats, or if you're harassing them, stalking him and his wife because you think he's, some part of big, deep state conspiracy theory to make Donald Trump supporters look bad. No, you're one of the worst types of people. You're a scummy person. Please stop and get help. Okay? But look, at the end of the day, the reason I don't have a lot of sympathy for him is because this is a case of the leopards eating your face. You thought you were one of the leopards. You're not. No, you're the person whose face is getting eaten by the leopards. He showed up. He tried to incite people into the building. Shouldn't have done that. Some people did try to intimidate Congress and Vice President at the time, Mike Pence, into not confirming the results of the election. When that did not happen, the right went into conspiracy theory mode, including calling the crowd Antifa, BLM, tourists, and of course, feds. Now, for example, Tucker Carlson in January 2022 described Epps as a person who helped stage manage the insurrection. During another show, Carlson focused on the fact that Epps had not been charged at the time, asking, why is that? Well, let's just stop lying. At this point, it's pretty obvious why that is. During a July 2022 episode, Carlson guest Darren Beattie, a former White House speechwriter, called Epps, quote unquote, the smoking gun of the entire Fed-surrection. And did Tucker Carlson push back? No, not at all. Not in the slightest. But it's not just Tucker Carlson. You also had Fox News host Laura Ingraham discussing Epps in an October 2021 segment featuring a graphic asking, were federal assets involved in Capitol riot? The answer, of course, is no. No. Just no. Now, the lawsuit, which was filed in Delaware, alleges that Fox and Carlson knew Epps was almost definitely not a federal agent, but chose to disregard the information. Fox engaged in purposeful avoidance of the truth, intentionally ignoring information and evidence that directly contradicted Fox's outlandish lies about Epps. And then, further on, refused to retract, correct, or apologize for its demonstrably false and defamatory accusations against Epps, well after Fox knew definitively that they were false, providing yet additional circumstantial evidence of actual malice. Fox thus broadcasts its lies about Epps with a high degree of awareness of probable falsity. Again, just fancy way of saying they lied. These people are lying liars who lied a lot. And so, look, yeah, yes, they are lying liars who lie a lot. Look, during the Dominion lawsuit, we saw messages, internal messages, emails and texts from Fox News hosts, emailing, texting each other, admitting that they knew that the election was not stolen. They knew it. Very, very clear. They didn't believe it. Oh, yeah, that election conspiracy stuff, the big lie, it's nuts. Oh, I don't believe it at all. Even Tucker Carlson saying, I don't believe it at all. And yet, night after night, they put out the conspiracy theory about the election. Do you think that after that, they also wouldn't lie about the Capitol riots? And about Ray Epps? No, lying is all they do. Look, understand that Fox News, it's not that they have a particular perspective and it's a conservative perspective and we have to respect that. No, it's the fact that they lie. They lie intentionally, and there's never any accountability for those lies. But what about the nearly $800 million in a settlement with Dominion? Too low. Not only is it too low, but also you can see from their reporting, they still have learned nothing. Now the question is, can Epps prove that he was defamed? Well, without being a lawyer, I don't necessarily know, honestly. But I personally do believe that he's got a pretty good shot. And so we'll have to see what happens. All right. I feel sorry for Ray, but I almost feel sorry for Ray. True. All right. Three former Fox News broadcasting company executives are really, really sorry about, helping create the monster known as Fox News. All right, so now in a blog post titled, "How Our Efforts to Bring Competition to Television Unknowingly Helped Create the Fox Disinformation Machine," Fox Broadcasting Company executives Preston Padden, Ken Solomon, and Bill Rayner had issued a formal apology for their part in the company's rise to success. So here's what they write. "For what little it may or may not be worth it at this point," it's worth nothing, Preston Padden, Ken Solomon, and Bill Rayner wish to express their deep disappointment for hoping to give birth to Fox Broadcasting Company and Fox Television that came to include Fox News Channel. The channel that prominently includes news that, in the words of Sidney Powell's counsel, no reasonable person would believe. Yes.
In Venezuela.
Nobody would believe it. And that's true. No reasonable person would believe it, and that means that there's a lot of unreasonable people out there. Yikes. All right, so now, the executive stated that while they never had a part in the creation of Fox News specifically, they had greatly admired Rupert Murdoch and his vision, and had genuinely believed that the creation of a fourth competitive force in broadcast television was in the public interest. We never envisioned and would not knowingly have enabled the disinformation machine that, in our opinion, Fox has become. They claimed, arguing that Fox News has had many negative impacts in our society. Yeah, let me stop there. You greatly admired Rupert Murdoch. Well, that was your first mistake. Look, the entire point of Fox News was to create a propaganda arm for the Republican Party. That's what Rupert Murdoch did, and he hired Roger Ailes to do it. That's it. When Roger Ailes was hired, they had one goal in mind: make a channel strictly to help the Republican Party. That's it. Not to do any sort of journalism, not even to do just, opinion based on the facts from a conservative perspective. No, just to do straight up propaganda for the right wing. That's it. And by the way, there's a conversation between Roger Ailes and one of his political lieutenants, John Moody. Here's what Ailes told him, quote, "One of the problems we have to work on here together when we start this network is that most journalists are liberals, and we've got to fight that." According to a former anchor, They had all outward appearances that it was just like any other newsroom, but you knew that the way to get ahead was to show your color, and that your color was red. Red state, that is. So very, very clear. It was like, oh yeah, you're gonna show your color red, but I don't mean communist. I mean like red state, the Republican red. Yeah, that's it. They even created a litmus test. This is according to Joe Peyronin, whom Ailes displaced as head of the network. Quote, he was going to figure out who was a liberal or conservative when he came in and try to get rid of the liberals. So, yeah, that's what they are. Again, it doesn't matter if you're a journalist. It doesn't matter, your straight reporting, straight news reporting. It doesn't matter your qualifications. If you are not a conservative, you got to go. Done. Unless, of course, we can then use you to beat up on a minority or just to beat up on the left. We're going to hire you as a punching bag. So with that entire purpose in mind, are we surprised that they started promoting things that are not true in order to help their narrative? So what's been the big narrative, not just over the past couple of years since Trump, but actually beforehand? Voter fraud. I mean, look, voter fraud was always mainly used as a way to push policies that will disenfranchise black people from voting. And that's to give Republicans an edge in elections. And of course, pushing back against same-day registration and now mail-in ballots, which they didn't used to have a problem with. Other things is, of course, they believe that there is this replacement theory. And again, this also goes back to before Donald Trump. They had talked about immigrant caravans. Oh, the immigrants are coming in. They're taking your jobs. They're taking your jobs. And they're voting Democrat. Don't forget that they're coming in, becoming citizens, taking your jobs, and voting Democrats. Which is not true at all. But still, it is a way to, again, weaponize people against immigrants who, by the way, there are a lot of immigrants that actually come from conservative countries that would vote conservative. They don't understand that because, again, one of the Republican Party's, main ways of turning out votes for a very, very long time was also to run on the racist Southern strategy. So that's to appeal to aggrieved white men for their votes by fear-mongering about racial minorities. By the way, Roger Ailes is one of the, people like credited with the Willie Horton ad. It was a massively racist ad that was shown, I believe, in the '88 election. It's an incredibly racist ad. That was Roger Ailes. That was Fox News. Well, before Fox News was created, because it was started in 1996. But it led to him creating Fox News with that kind of thing in mind. The Willie Horton ad. All these different things that they did to try to, again, push conservative, ideologies and to be able to allow for Republicans to win elections. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. Okay, so now anyway, let's see. Now, they didn't just push voter fraud. Okay, they also pushed the big lie. And that was, again, after, Trump had lost. And actually even going up to the election, they had pushed this, they're going to steal the election. It's voter fraud, voter fraud, voter fraud. We're going to see all this voter fraud. It's going to be a red mirage, watch out for that. That means that they're stealing the election. The three men cited Fox News' role in promoting that as well as its role in contributing to the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol that undermined our democracy as just a few of the issues which were troubling them in recent years. We're kind of troubled by this thing that we helped create. This Frankenstein's monster that kind of got away from us a little bit there. Did it just flatten the town? Oops, our bad. Sorry about that. Now, They also claimed that Murdoch had made it very clear to Preston that he understood that the 2020 election had not been stolen, despite claims to the contrary from some of Fox News' personalities. I talked about that. We saw all the different text messages during the Dominion lawsuit, the text messages and the messages, again, from Murdoch, but also from hosts like Tucker Carlson, who absolutely, Sean Hannity, were like, no, we don't believe in this nonsense, this Democrats stealing the election. No, it's nonsense. It's not real. There's no evidence of that. But then when they go on there, they're like, no, oh, absolutely, they're voting for to steal the election. What if they're going to steal the election? Gotta be careful. Democrats, they're doing voter fraud. Now, the Post concluded by expressing resentment that the reputation of the Fox brand we helped to build has been ruined by false news. And Preston Padden had previously condemned Fox News in a 2021 article for the Daily Beast, saying he owes himself a better legacy than a news channel that no reasonable person would believe, wrote Padden, who claimed that Fox News had been transformed from a truthful center-right news network to a bile-filled network. Bile-filled. Now look, again, it really just sounds to me like, oops, oh, the monster that we created ran loose and destroyed a whole bunch of things, and almost destroyed our country. Oops, oh, we feel bad. Well, I'm sorry, but, it's a little late for apologies when you profited off, your position for years as it broke our parents' and grandparents' brains and shredded democracy and discourse. I think it's going to take a little bit more than just a little bit of a, tiny little apology to make it for the damage that Fox News has done to this country. But I doubt we are going to get any more than just, oops, our bad. Okay. Now let's move on to a little bit of fun. Go to Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan didn't exactly have the best words, the greatest words, during an interview that he had on Fox News.
That's exactly what happened with the decision. When it came to the decision with Mr. I drew a blank there, Sean. I apologize. Yep. I got a huge echo in my ear, and I can't even hear.
Sorry about that. Go ahead, pick up.
But yeah, that's exactly what happened. They pre-bunked this story, and Facebook specifically asked the FBI, is the Hunter Biden story Russian misinformation?
Old.
I know words. I have the best words.
The best words. The greatest words. So, what's funny? I might actually give Jim Jordan a little bit of a break. Here's why. If there really was an echo, that would completely throw me off, and I would sound like an idiot. So if that is indeed the case, forgiven. Because I understand if I got an echo in my ear of my own voice, oh no, it's over. It's over. Can't deal with it. But that said, Jim Jordan still sounds like an idiot, even when there isn't an echo in his ear messing with him. So, and look, if there wasn't an echo, then maybe he just got a little confused with his talking points. Who knows? I don't know for sure. I don't know. But anyway, either way, social media had a little bit of fun. In fact, Aaron Rupor points out that if Biden did this during a live interview, Fox would spend nights yelling about how he's in cognitive decline. Well, Fox News has already done that. So, it's kind of something that we're already used to seeing from Fox News, and the right wing. Now, in response to that, another person adds, looks like Jim Jordan is in continuing decline. Another person adds, that's what Endgame looks like after decades of sniffing singlets. Please, I do not want that in my brain. A little bit of brain bleach. And then finally, Republicans against Trump said on social media, quote, Sleepy Jim? Hey, maybe you can, maybe that's where the cocaine came from in the White House. He didn't pick it up, so he was sleepy. He was all confused. I don't know. Interesting new theory that it was Jim Jordan's coke. Do I have any proof? No. Do I need one?
Just forget about the evidence.
Okay, anyway. Let's go to the fart war. Okay. Democratic candidate RFK Jr., his press dinner went off the rails after two guests got into a drunken spat that included harsh words, conspiracy theories, and fart wars. Yeah. Okay, so here's how page 6 described it. The gaseous exchange, to which page 6 bore reluctant witness, began after a guest asked Kennedy, founder of the ecological organization Waterkeeper Alliance, about the environment. Now, even asking an environmental question, which, by the way, RFK Jr. does believe in climate change. His ideas about how to solve climate change are bonkers. We must have free markets to stop pollution. But anyway, even ask him that question was too much for gossip columnist Doug Deschert, who was the host of the event, who became enraged and screamed at the top of his lungs, "Climate hoax!" Oh, I love it already. Now, another guest, apparently Deshart's friend. I'm sorry, Deshart's friend. I said Deschart. What a strange Freudian slip there. Just say. Deschart, Deshart's friend, Anthony Hayden Guest, who appeared to have been sleeping most of the dinner, got woken up by the commotion and called his longtime friend a miserable blob. Deschart, for his part, continued to scream wildly about how climate change is a scam, while Hayden Guest would repeatedly call him effing insane and insignificant. Now, this was supposed to be a press dinner for RFK Jr. Where was Kennedy during all this? Apparently, he was just watching it all unfold. I don't blame him. This scene, I would have loved to have been there, because honestly, it's like a car crash. You can't look away. You just can't look away. But it got funnier. Deschart, I don't know if at this point he was standing up or if he had remained seated, but he, according to page 6, decided to let rip a loud, prolonged fart while yelling, "I'm farting." No kidding. No kidding. The room, which included a handful of journalists as well as Kennedy's campaign manager, former Representative Dennis Kucinich, was stunned, seemingly unsure about whether Deschart was farting at Hayden Guest personally or at the very notion of climate change. Wow. I tell you what, apparently they know how to throw a party, I guess. All right. Now, when asked about, when asked to comment about his outburst, the next day, Detcher told Page 6, quote, "I apologize for using my flatulence as a medium of public commentary in your presence." He also then asked Page 6 to refer to him as either a gallivanting boulevardier or a quote-unquote beer-fueled sex rocket. This guy, look, let me tell you what, this guy got some crazy beliefs about climate change, apparently very strong beliefs about climate change. But you know what? Probably a blast. Sounds like a blast. Fun. Apparently he has zero tolerance for the climate hoax, scam, nonsense in any venue that I am personally funding. Wow. Yeah. That's great. Now his buddy, Hayden Guest, he also weighed in. He said, "Look, I've known Doug for many years. We've had spats before about this and that. We're not quite the same politically." I think they're both British, by the way. But that doesn't affect the relationships in the UK, but I thought this was pretty hilarious. Doug said it was a hoax and scam. A scam for who? Who is benefiting? That's not a political thing. It's a human existence thing. Hayden Guest also says that fighting in public is very unusual for him. But when it is a preposterous and it's a life or death issue with the planet, to treat it as a zany political thing is foolish. So look, at the end of the day, Hayden Guest, I agree with him. Yes, generally, yeah, climate change, pretty big deal. Pretty big deal. Whereas the unhinged guy audibly farting at people because he, doesn't like that people are talking about climate change, obviously in the wrong. I'm not really sure I can add a whole lot more to that. Oh boy. Oh boy. So yeah, if you were wondering how RFK Jr.'s campaign is going, pretty well. All things considered. If you call that well. All right. So let's go to one more story here, a little bit more serious, and it's about a bait and switch job. At least no one got kicked in the balls. Yeah. What is this? A Michigan Republican Party meeting? Okay. A job seeker walked out of an interview after he realized that he was lied to by the recruiter. So this happened to TikToker Wyatt Vincent. So I don't really think that calling him a TikToker is all that accurate, but he posted this video on TikTok, basically explaining that when he went for an interview to a job that offered $20 an hour plus benefits, he was super excited. Like, oh yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, I see this job opening or this job listing. I applied for it. I got all ready. And then, it turns out it was bait and switch. So now he was surprised to find out that it was a group interview. That's the first red flag. That happened to be very different from the one that he was actually told, the one that he had actually applied to. Vincent began by saying, I've never walked out of a job interview before, but companies these days are smoking crack. And let me say, this employer was high as hell. Already, love it. I was online, I seen a job posting for $40,000 to $50,000 a year, plus all these benefits. It's a 30-minute drive from my house, but I'm like, okay, that comes out about $20 an hour. I can work with that. He then says, when he got to the interview, he actually showed up early, saying, quote, he looked like a snack. And then I walked through the doors, and there was an effing group interview sign-up sheet and like 15 other well-dressed MFers in here. Once again, if you show up to an interview and there's in the interview room a bunch of other people, nope, you just turn around and walk out. It's going to be a waste of your time. But anyway, nonetheless, this guy decided he was gonna stick it out. So he was there until about 5 minutes into the company's PowerPoint presentation. He said the company had just finished telling them, quote, "We got to look a certain way. We got to take a drug test, criminal background check, driving record check." Wow. No visible tattoos. It requires a lot of physical labor. We got to go through multiple interviews. So he was like, okay, look, I get it. But for $20 an hour, okay, fine. Sure. That's more than what I'm making right now. But then he said, quote, "These wannabe slave masters look us dead in our eyes and told us it's $13 an hour. And after months of training, you might be able to make a little bit of commission from upselling." So why then claim that it's $20 an hour? Oh no, well it's actually $20 an hour, but not really. It's 13, but you could potentially make $20 if you upsell. No. Now look, $13 an hour. A lot of places in this country can't live on $13 an hour. And so having this company that claims, oh yeah, $20 an hour, we got this job. And yeah, there's a lot of requirements to it, but don't worry, $20 an hour. Oh, nah, but it's actually $13 an hour. Yeah. Total bait and switch. I think, man, that should be illegal. That is straight up false advertising, completely and utterly dishonest. I absolutely hate it. Now, the video caption he adds, "Everybody eventually walked out, but half walked out right behind me." Yeah, as soon as they found out it was $13 an hour, they're gone. And it's funny because, you know, some people are like, nobody wants to work. Yeah, nobody wants to work. I can't believe all these entitled millennials wanting to make, you know, enough money to survive. Those losers. God, they're so entitled. No, here's the thing. This guy had already had a job making $17 an hour, almost $18 an hour. So he's like, look, I see the shot for $20 an hour. Obviously, it's more than what I'm making now. Okay, sure, it's a half hour away. Okay, fine. The commute, it kind of sucks, but it's, you know, an extra, you know, $3 an hour just about. Hell yeah, I'll take it. Sure, I'll see what they're about. And then just getting lied to. What is this? What is this? Gaslighting? That's what this is. Now, some of the comments here from people who watched the video saying $13 for full time. I would have left once I saw it was a group interview. I will never subject myself to that horror again. Another person added, once I see it's a group thing, I'm like, nah. And another said, group interviews are an absolute no for me. I agree with all of this. Look, the last time I looked for a job was a long time ago. Okay. The last time I had one of these group interviews had to have been like 2006-ish. So they've been around for a very long time, and they were just as ridiculous back then as they are now. Sign up for a job, you know, for get an interview, whatever. Oh no, this would be the first out of like 10 interviews for something that paid probably at the time about $10 an hour. No, this is ridiculous. And by the way, it was, from what I remember, and it's not the same place, I don't think, as this, because I didn't actually point out the employer's name, but I remember, I think the one that I was interviewing for was like being a vacuum salesman, I think. I don't know, it was a long time ago. Group interviews, though, immediate red flag. It's almost like a sure bet that it's going to be like a multi-level marketing scheme. 100%. 100%. And so, look, another person, by the way, pointed out, this reminds me of years ago I applied for a receptionist job at a tanning salon. Went to the interview, and it was a pyramid scheme for a tanning salon. Happened to me too. They offered $25 in my third interview. She said $13.50. I told her she should correct her ad because it's misleading. That person, by the way, made that comment, was informed about an hour later that they didn't get the job. Big surprise. Oh, but again, nobody wants to work, right? No, nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work. No, nobody wants to sit through fake bait and switch interviews with, again, a group. No, this is absolutely ridiculous. It should be, this kind of stuff should be absolutely outlawed, because it's a slap in the face. It's insulting to sit there and lie, to be able to lie without recourse on, these job listings, and, tell someone who comes in for that interview, takes time out of their day, maybe takes PTO from their current job if they're able to go listen to something that is just 100% straight up gaslighting. Nah, it's ridiculous. These companies ought to be ashamed of themselves for using this type of predatory hiring tactic, but something tells me that in this environment, they'll never, ever be held accountable. I tried selling Kirby's, says Our Future Now. Work for 6 weeks without pay. TF Cook says, Thunderdome interview, 12 enter, 1 gets the crappy job. Yeah, what one can actually maybe pay for the gas that it takes to get them to work. This would happen if we just have a little bit more capitalism. Yeah, we just need to regulate business. Yeah, that's right. We just need to get the government out of business. Yeah, then everything will be so much better. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Okay. Welcome to the Thunder Job. God. All right. With that, that's all I got for stories today. I'm going to read some super chats here. Member comments. Let me see if I can. All right. Okay. Gabby Mathis, thank you for being a member. Gabby, I've been told about your situation going on with apparently somebody hacking into your cards. It's horrible, and I hope that you are able to get that fixed, and hopefully nobody was able to actually steal anything from you, because I've had that happen to me before. Making fraudulent charges with my card, my account, and it's frustrating as hell. Like, the worst thing about it isn't just having your money stolen, because the bank will usually, like, at least the credit union that I work with will, like, get that money back. It's a hassle, it's a pain in the ass, but they're able to actually, if it's a fraudulent charge, refund you the money, which again is disastrous, especially if you like paycheck to paycheck and you're having some issues like, oh, I got to pay this bill at a certain time, but now somebody stole my money and I got to wait for it to come back. That's horrible. But also, the horrible thing is also if you've got like subscriptions and stuff, we got to change all your different cards. Horrifying. Some of the biggest pain in the ass you could imagine. So I feel really, really horrible for you. I'm sorry that that happened to you, and hopefully everything gets, fixed. So there you go. All right. Michael Norish with a super chat says, anyone who looks at the world and thinks nailed it has lost touch with reality. Why would we want to conserve an imperfect world? Well, it may be impossible. Progressives always try to correct it. Mithro, thank you for the gifting the 5 memberships on YouTube. Appreciate that. Mia says, thank you for being welcoming. Well, thank you. I mean, everybody's welcome here. And thank you for becoming a member, Mia, as well. Appreciate that. All right. With that, let's go over here to our Twitch community. Dirk is Jerk, thank you for resubbing for a month of tier 1. And Pendulous Dragon, thank you for resubbing at tier 1 as well. I appreciate that. All right, everybody. Twitch, we're going to raid into Cave Logan 1875. Everybody else, thank you all. Make sure to like and share the stream if you haven't already. Love you all. And remember, change begins with you. Good night, nation. See you back here tomorrow.
There's some whores in this house. Wet ass P-word. Whoopsie.
USA, USA, USA.
They want to make you drink Starbucks every day from now until forever.
Disappointed! Resurrection is about the people.
You're kicking me out the door. You're kicking me out the door.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.